Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? I will start. Hopefully, there will be more people coming later. It's a bit too early in the morning. My name is Amos Barkai. I'm a CEO of a company called OLSPS, which we have with big office in Cape Town, South Africa, and also offices in Portugal and the UK. And I will talk, what I would like to tell you about is how technology, specifically data technology, can change not just the way we're doing things, but the way we're thinking about management, and in this particular case, with a specific focus on fisheries management. So I use the word empowerment because my view is the type of technology that we're going to bring, or we're bringing into the commercial fishing industry, is empowering fishermen to become a real partner in management decision that concerning their livelihood and the management of their resources. And I will explain why I'm talking to you, why I'm using the word empowerment later. So as I said, we are in this beautiful, we have a big offices in the Cape Town, which is a beautiful, just under Table Mountain, very nice place. And then we have recently, about 3 or 4 years ago, we set up an office here in Lisbon for all sorts of reasons, mainly because we're doing a lot of European projects and we needed the best in Europe, and we selected Portugal as, and we love Lisbon, we love Portugal, so it was a good decision. We're operating in many other countries, but through a partnership agreement with different distribution and partner. This is the first party we have after Corona in Cape Town. It's not the entire team, it's only, and you see the mask. That was before the Omicron hit us again, so maybe it was a little bit premature. But we are right now, for the last couple of years, the entire company is, although we have physical offices, the entire company is working on the cloud, and we're operating. We learn to operate virtually in all aspects of the business. So let's talk about fishermen. Fisher is the right way to say things. I've been in the with the fishery management for over 30 years, and I realized that there is a very complicated relationship between the different groups that involve in fisheries management. I call it the triangle of love and hate. They need each other, but they don't really like each other at the same time. So fishers, their job as part of their license condition is to supply information about their catch, their fishing gear, the location of fishing that they provide to the scientists. The scientists, which let's say in a broad way, that's where I'm sitting, using this information to give advice to the authorities. How much fish you can fish, what is the TAC, what is the quota, where you should fish, which season to close, etc. And the authorities create regulation, and these rules and management rules then become regulation that the fisher need to comply with. The problem is that the scientists really don't trust the authorities, and we've seen in many cases where the authorities, from all sorts of political reasons, social, economic, don't really always listen to the scientists. The authorities doesn't trust the fishers because the fishers try to do everything in their power to do their business, not necessarily comply with the authorities. And the fishers don't trust anybody. They don't trust the scientists, they don't trust the authorities, because really they want to fish, and who you are, they call us pen pushers sometimes. Who are you telling us how to go fishing and what to do our work? We know better than everybody else. And we have 20, 30, 40 years experience, and you're telling me what I can do and what I cannot do. So we are not always very popular, but we still have work to do. So first of all, let's start to explain a little bit why I believe that fishery management is the most complicated business in the world. It's the most complicated operation, it's the most complicated business, and it's the most complicated environment, management environment in, okay, not in the world, in the universe. I prefer to vow that it's more complicated to understand one tiny little marine ecosystem than to understand the entire physics of the universe. Okay, we're a bit humble about it, but the complexity that we have to deal with is enormous. And in addition, in our business, operational environment, everything, but absolutely everything is moving in relation to each other. So we have vessel that is of course moving all the time, moving at sea, moving up and down, is a moving sideways, it's just a moving platform. Then we have so many type of vessel with so many type of fishing gear. Each one of them is its own impact on the way we catching our fish and how we impact the resource that we're targeting, either damaging the different form of damage to the ecosystem, or different impact on the ecosystem, or the actual fish, different selectivity properties, different amount of fish they can catch, different technology. We have different fishing method. So many different fishing methods. You can catch the same fish by traps, by line, or by net, different way of doing things. All of this need to be somehow come into accounted when you do fishery management. When you catch the fish, in many cases you cut it. You don't get the live fish the way you brought it. Now you have to derive how many fish you caught. All you see is some many pieces of fillet, and you need to tell how many round fish or live fish they actually produce this fillet. And they packed in boxes, and they packed in bags, and sometimes they even liquidize into fish meal at sea, and all you get is some big container with some kind of a fish dust or some oil or fish oil, and you still need to manage the resource from where the fish come from. Of course, you have weather conditions that changing and dramatically affecting the catchability and the availability of fish. You have life cycle of fish and fishing moving around, and they are in different forms, in different time of their life cycle, and they're moving around, and you need to manage them as a fish, but it's actually 8 different forms. Each one of them is own biology, its own behavior, its own impact, its own possible impact on management. And habitats can change dramatically from sand to rock to combination to midwater to pelagic to demersal, you name it. So we need to deal with all this complexity. So what I'm often saying that really fishery management is a juggling act, because you need to consider many factors, and everything around you is moving, and you still need to manage, and you still need to come to the authorities or to the politician, whoever, you're allowed to catch only 50,000 tons of fish this year. Why? Why not 55? Why not 35? Please explain to me. And then you try to explain to them, and you show them probability curve, you show them the statistic, you show them selectivity equation, and they look at you and, why do you bore me with all this complexity? Just tell me how many fish I'm allowed to catch and stop. And actually, no matter what you say, I need to increase the TAC because there are poor people that need to eat, and they need to catch more fish. So my interest in this side of the management, which is the data side, came after I was sitting almost 10 years in Fishery Management Committee, developing stock assessment solution, and understanding more and more that the data that I'm using are completely useless. And more than that, because they are useless and because they are very subjective, people use them to run their own agenda. And you have an agenda. In fishery management, you have an agenda. Very simple things. What is the estimated mortality factor for certain resource can affect the assumption about productivity and can affect then the assumption about how much quota should be given, for example. So it all become very fluid science being used to drive certain agenda rather than we have a common database, and then with this there is no argument about certain facts. And everybody saw this paper. I don't know how many of you, definitely the older guys saw that all this amount of data were collected using some kind of a paper log sheet. So first of all, let's move to computer. That was the first decision that we made. But when we decided we were going to move to computer, you said, no, let's not just take the paper log sheet and put it on the computer. Let's actually give the entire power of data technology into the hand of the scientists, into the hand of fishers as well. So we said, let's make the data collection tool a multimedia tool, because data can be text, data can be number, data can be images, can be footage, can be anything that that you can collect and see during fishing operation can be data. So we created the tool that sitting on a fishing vessel can be sitting on a laptop or on a mobile application, and you collect data. Just collect information which is try to mimic the fishing operation. You're starting a fishing trip, what fishing gear you have on the vessel, where you started the trip, where you're going to fish, what fishing gear you carry with you, what fish you're going to target. All of this information we put in. And then when you start the actual fishing, then how long you fish, what depths you fish, what was the weather where you're fishing. All this information will be part of what we're collecting when we're doing collecting data for fishery. This data then going to a server that take the data from many vessels. Of course, fishery is a fleet operation, many vessels involved in fishery. The server then taking the data and using them either to produce compliance report, and our software is certified for compliance in the USA, in Canada, in New Zealand, in Australia, here in Europe, because they have some compliance requirement. But it also can use to advance commercial interest. How much, what is your, what sort of market, what sort of processing amount of fishes you have for processing, where you should plan your marketing, so it can be used for commercial, for financial consideration. And then, of course, it can be used for science, for management. And the idea is that we, in addition to the basic compliance, we also want to produce data that have relevance to scientific management. So it's all the data that coming from fishing operation will go into this depository where they will sit and we can analyze them. But the idea was that this have to be very easy to the fisher to put this information, because otherwise you will not do it. And they also have to get some value out of all this data, other than just instruction and management decision. So that's roughly a look of the desktop version of our software. Everything is touch screen, everything is lookup. When a fisher get our technology, it completely customized for his need, with all the species name, all the jargon, all the term, conversion factor, you name it. Everything that you have to put as entry, it's come with a lookup, other than if you have to say how many kilograms or how many boxes of fish I have. If, for example, you have 500 boxes, we know the capacity of the box, we know if it was packed with ice or not, or it was cut, what is the conversion factor between the cut fish to the original fish. But we also said that a lot of vessels have far less complicated requirement, so the software designed to address extremely complicated scenario with hundreds of variables and consideration and validation, but also it can work on a small boat, 10 meters boat, and just to collect 20 or 5 fields. So the software can address the entire spectrum of potential users, from very small boat to So with the server is just example. The server is something that can give you a fleet view of the fishery, can show you where you're fishing, how much you caught, where you're coming to the port. So the server is something that can sit on the cloud or can sit on the actual, each fishing company or each association or each management authority can have the server sitting on their own physical server. And we added a lot of, once we start to collect all this data and produce all this report, we were asked to put all sorts of added value tools. One tool that we have that is operating on quite a large number of vessels in New Zealand is that the location of the vessel is continuously traced by the company owner, and all the reports that have been sent to the authority are going through a system that he has visibility, so he can sit in his home or he can sit in Tokyo, and he can log to a website and he will see exactly where his fishing vessels are at any time and what report they are sending, and if there is any issue with the compliance side of operation, then he can be informed in real time. Other tool that we develop, as we said, we want the fisher to be enjoying the benefit of them collecting data, is a tool that allowing them to see, to organize, to plan their fishing according to where they are likely to catch the fish and where they are likely to catch the fish based on certain filtering criteria. When the moon is full moon or there is no moon, when the water temperature is X or the water temperature is Y, or when there is cloud cover, or any combination of different variables, so he can ask questions. So we know that fishers that were spend a lot of time at sea, they believe that, well, we know for sure, environmental factor affecting the catchability and the availability of fish. We gave them a tool that allows you to do them in an intelligent way, to catch, to get to their fishing ground with greater ease. But we also use the same technology, and I will show you soon. The same technology will allow them also to avoid certain areas. For example, if there are certain protected bycatch species that should not be caught, or choke species that should be potentially affect their quota of the main species, they can avoid them as well. And I will show you example how we utilize our technology to help with the avoidance of fish. We develop I said in the beginning that having that kind of technology is a game changer. We develop a whole management system based on real-time information, data coming in real time between the vessel and the shore, that basically have no TAC allocated to it. I'm not going to get into the detail of this because that's a full presentation on its own, but basically it's allow fishers to go out and fish their quota without worrying about the quota. It is a dynamic MPA, sort of model. And the example that I give for people I can answer more questions after that, but if people want to understand how it's work, I would say you take your kids to the mall to do some day fun day, and then you give each one of them, I don't know, 50 euro or 10 euro or 50 euro, and you tell them you can spend it as you like, but the moment you finish your currency, your 50 euro, you're not allowed to, you cannot do any more shopping. And some of them will spend it on one shop on nice, very expensive shirt, and the other one will spend it the whole day on small things. So we tell the fisher, we get some currency, we call it RTI point. Once you finish your point, you cannot carry on fishing, and this RTI point are translated into spending speed and the certain area where the biological and ecological risk is higher, the spending rate is higher, and where in other cases where the biological risk or ecological risk is less, they are spending less, and they can decide to go to the expensive site, expensive item, or to go to the cheap site. And as I say, it's very elaborate. We develop it together with some colleagues from Europe, and we are trying to bring it now as a management, an alternative to the present management procedure in Europe. Here I want to show that we develop a way that will allow us to avoid bycatch area. How are we avoiding bycatch area? By taking the knowledge of many fishers about when they're catching the fish, what is the CP, what is the catch rate of their certain bycatch species, and we allow them to report in real time without giving any information about their main target species. So the example that we give, we develop it for the scallop fishery in the northeast Atlantic of the east coast of USA, and basically the system collecting information about the catch rate of yellowtail flounder, which is a chalk species for the scallop. This information is then set into a server in form of some kind of a script, of a XML script in this case. When it's get to the server, then the server take all this information about different area of high catch rate of bycatch species, and he compile a map out of them, which telling you the red point are area that you should avoid because there are information coming from many vessels that there is a lot of bycatch there, and this bycatch area should be avoided. He then sent a message to the vessel. It's all done automatically. Press of a button. All this information, included the sending of information from the vessel to the shore and back. The fisherman said that he have some notification from the authority in the shore, from the management server in the shore, and then he sent back the map that he compiled together. He sent back to the vessel, and the vessel get his map now on their screen. And now all of them have the same map, and they can now go and avoid the red area. So the same technology that we develop in order to allow them to go to catch more fish, we actually allow them to have some intelligent way to decide where not to go fishing. Exactly the same principle of technology. We are more and more getting into artificial intelligence type of tools. How to identify catch in terms of quantity, how to identify catch in terms of the species breakdown, and how to identify an event on the vessel. Can be discard event, can be putting your gear, setting your gear in the water, or pulling your gear out of the water. It's all in combination of electronic monitoring technology that's sitting, and our system now can be integrated with any type of onboard IP camera to read the data, the images from the camera, to analyze the images, and also to use them as part of the monitoring and as part of the scrutiny of the reports. We're more and more developing mobile. We're getting into development of mobile application. We are targeting now, let's call it the more artisanal, the small-scale commercial fishing. So we developed this application. It's used now in the USA, in the Gulf of Mexico. Can sit on your mobile or Android, either iPad or mobile phone. Allow you to catch, allow to do a lot of the things that I show you on the desktop level. You can now do on your mobile phone, and that's really where we're putting a lot of investment. The idea is to target a smaller boat and a vessel that don't have the same facilities as the big vessel. We developed using similar technology, product tracing technology using a tagging of shark spot. We developed it for the Shark Protection Organization, and we are allow them to put RFQ or QR or RFID tags, and then we can follow them all the way to the shop using this mobile application. Again, I will go into detail only if you ask me questions. It's a lot of technology sitting here. And finally we engage also in citizen science project, where you're developing application that allow everybody that's going to the sea to collect any observation. And when I say any observation, I'm jokingly see that even if he saw a mermaid in the water, we'll be able to record it, to report it in a very accurate way. So it means that he can see whales, he can identify them, he can see dolphin or turtles or jellyfish or seabirds, and he can identify them, he can store it on his own application. You can also send it to a central hub for a sort of joint shared analysis. So basically, our tool is called OLRAC. It's one tool for everybody. I hope I didn't exhausted you with too much information. I will answer any question you may have, and thanks very much for the people who come to listen to me. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Any question, please, people feel free. You don't have to. Yes?
Thank you for an explained presentation.
Cannot hear you. I have to take these things. Do I have to? I have to.
You have to wear it because we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's not connected. Just give me a second.
Maybe you can just talk to each other.
I don't know where to turn it on. Let me see this side. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear it now?
Try again.
Can you hear me?
No.
1, 2, 3.
Try again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Technology, you know.
Completely. Thank you for your presentation. Great presentation. I'm completely out of this industry. I just touch a little bit from the data side and weather information. One question: you are always looking at data, and my question is: are you looking at forecasts? Meaning, if you want to forecast what will happen in your fishing area, what kind of forecasts are you looking at? Weather forecasts? Do you have your own models to predict where fish may be, or how will this move? As you said, it is a very difficult environment, extremely difficult environment, extremely dynamic environment. How do and what are the kind of time you look ahead? So do you matter with 6 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours? So what is the kind of time horizon that you are interested in terms of forecasting? Thank you.
Yeah, forecast is really the art. Can you hear me now? Because I cannot hear myself. Okay, forecast is the art of looking back and projecting forward. So when I say that we have, for example, a filtering system, I'm really saying, okay, where you catch most fish when the moon is full moon. That's already forecasting, because I'm now going to fish in a full moon, and I'm now forecasting that that if I will look back in the history, in average, in a full moon I caught hake in this particular area in a greater quantity, so let's go to this area. As I say, we can combine. So just a simple filtering already creates forecasting in a way, because you look at the past, you say, in average, that's where I caught in this time of the year when the water temperature was X and the moon phase was Y. In this depths of water, I caught so much fish. So that's a very simple way of forecasting. It's become complicated when you want to use other variables that you normally don't collect in. So we do build predictive modeling. Actually, our company started as a predictive modeling company, because really management is about forecasting maybe how the impact of fishing will impact your fishery in 10 or 15 or 20 years' time. So we do have kind of a predictive, not a kind, we have a predictive model as well, that you can put all sort of information into the model. You train it like a normal predictive model. You train it on 60 or 50, 70% of the data, and then you use the model to tune the model based on the 30% that you haven't trained. We do have it. It's normally a little bit, because of the huge variance and the huge error associated with everything that we're doing, is not very accurate. So I will tell fisher that use that kind of model, but use it with cautions. And normally fisher will use the sort of, if somebody will tell you, hey, there is a lot of fish in one point. I see there is a lot of fish in one point, and your model says, no, it's another point. I say, go to the point where you saw the fish. Yes, we do using it. We're busy perfecting it. We're also trying to bring Earth observation information into this model. We work in conjunction with other company. For example, if you have a map of plankton distribution or water temperature layer or currents pattern, how to link them into your projection. I would say it's art. This is a developing sort of skill that we are bringing into our operation. But right now, our main tool that we give to the fishermen: look back, take your experience, take your yourself, and I will tell you where you caught a lot of fish under certain conditions. Let's assume that you have more likelihood to catch good fish based on this simple historic view insight. Sorry, yes?
So it sounds like you're offering.
Very quiet. Can I make the volume bigger or higher on my side? I can barely hear.
So it sounds like you are trying to do everything, but I'm sure that you have chosen to selectively not do certain things. What are you not trying to do?
Now I don't hear anything. So it's the other way.
Sim.
Okay.
You've said you're trying to do almost everything, but I'm sure that you have decided to selectively not do certain things. What are you trying not to do?
Well, my electronic logbook doesn't allow fishermen to cheat. I don't allow double booking. I validate every piece of information throughout the whole data entry process. I validate. So if they told me that the caught, I don't know, in their net they have 5 tons of fish, and suddenly declaring that to the authority that they caught only, I don't know, 3 tons of fish, normally it's not such a huge gap, I will immediately pick it up and I will immediately inform them that they actually have a discrepancy between how much they report in phase 1 to how much they report in phase 3. I have to take into consideration a lot of issues because maybe they're cutting the fish. So I'm calculating what should be the live fish that they caught based on the conversion factor, which is built into the system, if you understand what I'm saying. So let's say that they cut them into headed and gutted. Of course, the headed and gutted fish does not weigh as the live fish. So I'm converting it to the live fish and I say, look, there can be a 5% error, but you have 20% error. You are not reporting honestly. I'm not forcing them to report honestly, but I'm telling them they cannot say that they didn't were aware that there is discrepancy. I'm not allowing them without bringing to their attention to report to the commercial company one figure and to the scientist or to the management another figure. I have many validation. I also have a logging. For example, I log any change. So if, for example, he took certain piece of data and he reported and then he changed it, I log the change, when it was done, who done it. So I allow a lot of scrutiny, but I'm not trying to police the fisher. I really want them to cooperate, but I'm trying to see the value in a honest reporting, and I try to educate them, and I spend a lot of my time on education that actually they can benefit enormously from being honest, and I tell you why. Because if you don't trust fisher to report data accurately, your management regulations are very, very strict. If you think that he's going to cheat you by 20 or 30%, then you automatically reduce the location by 30%. So if you will cheat, you will still be where you want. But if you trust him to be honest, then you can give him much more freedom to make a decision about his fishing. So that's really my approach. I'm not allowing my tool to help them to cheat. That's I definitely not allowed. That's one thing that I'm not allowing. Yeah, this gentleman over there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Thank you for the splendid presentation. I think your submissions are also very good. I really love the work you are doing, talking about you not allowing fishers to cheat. I think it would then help managers to take, if everything goes well as it is, the modeling, and then the error is quite low, then it will help fishermen it will help the managers to take a good stock of fishes. But you also spoke about citizen science, where everybody can just go and then fish with this kind of thing. Do you try to incorporate people who have no idea about, who have no knowledge and no education? I'm coming from the tropical, I'm coming from Ghana, where there are a lot of fishers who know nothing about whatever electronic device. They only go to just look at the school of fish, use the idea, meet the fish, and then catch them. So I'm just asking, does your work incorporate people who have no idea about anything. Yeah.
Yeah, the citizen science project, definitely, that's what it's designed for. It's designed to be an educational tool, but it's designed also to provide good quality data. So the challenge was, are you taking people with no experience whatsoever? And you can see that maybe you have fishers in Ghana that don't have great knowledge of, let's say, a numerical skill. But I'm talking about people who are going for cruising as well. People that all their life were, I don't know, were busy with the food industry, or they were working as whatever in the office somewhere, and now they retire and they're going to the cruise and they're sitting, hundreds, millions of them sitting on vessel, and they're going all around the world. And I give them an option to actually provide good quality data and not just to eat and drink and dance on theirs. I have people working on oil rig. They also see a lot of things. I myself spent a lot of my life as a youngster at sea. I saw amazing things what I was at sea. I never have a platform. The tool that we design is a tool that everybody, I would say from the age that your kid can use a mobile application, because it requires some platform. Let's say 7 years old, that's when you buy the first iPhone nowadays to your kid, to anybody that's using smartphone. And it's done in a way that you really don't need to know anything. By the time you finish your first observation trip, you will know more about fish and about whales and seabirds and dolphins and sea turtle and bloom and everything than you ever learn in any other way, because that's really the way it was designed, to be very educational. It's not designed as a compliance tool, okay? It's not designed for fishery compliance tool. So we're trying to do our fishery software also very simple, and I have, if you can, I'll show you later on my iPhone, I'll show you the mobile, how easy it is to use the mobile. For example, you want to know what is the cloud cover. You want to link, so we give them a picture of cloud cover and we say, press the cloud cover. What cloud type? Who knows? Who remember the name of the different clouds? But you have a picture of the different and you press the picture. The same is what type of, what is the moon phase? What is, any information that we can express in an image. If we cannot express it in an image, there is a lookup, and we give him the option that he can choose from. He doesn't need to write anything. So we pay a lot of attention to make it very accessible to people that don't have either the skill, they are not scientists, they are not even technical people, they want to collect, they want to help, but they don't have the skill to do it. So we will help them to do it in a very easy way. And the data will be good quality data. There will not be a bad data, because we not allow them to make typo, because they don't have to write anything. So they get, if they have to declare what is the species, they cannot write the species in 20 different ways. There is only one way to write the species, and we give them the common name, but we have the scientific name, so we're checking all the time that the name that is correct. So it's good quality data in a very easy way to report, and we also have the advantage that a lot of this information can be moved in real time to the server, so management can now happen in real time, which is extremely important, and not sometime wait 2 or 3 years before you get the data on your computer and then you do the assessment, but it's already three years old, for example.
Thank you.
Okay. Many thanks again to everybody. We have a small stand here if you want to show a demonstration of the technology. It's called OLSPS, the company called OLSPS. Everybody is welcome to see what we're doing, and I appreciate your time and your attention. Thanks a lot to you.